In last week's lecture, we talked about different types of contract, and one of those is unit price contract, which is the contract types we mentioned in last week. So for unit price contract, we already said one of the disadvantages is that can incur unbalanced bid. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys what an unbalanced bid is and how unbalanced bid works. So as you may see in this example, this table just shows a simple project and with a few line items, and we've got a unit measure and also the estimated quantity, unit price for bid 1 and bid 2. So by looking at the name of the unit price contract, we all know unit price times the estimated quantity should get you a bid amount for that particular line item. So for the simplicity of this project, we just included 3 work items, and we've got 2 bidders, bid 1 and bid 2. And we already mentioned that, so for typically when the owner tries to select the bid, if nothing else is a difference, or if we are working with DOTs, they always have to go with the lowest bid. So among bid 2 and bid 1, by looking at the total cost, the owner typically would go with bid 2 because the total price, the total cost is lower. So bid 2 would be the winning bid for the project, right? So now, since the estimated quantity would be different than the actual quantity, so let's see how unbalanced bid work, and that can be disadvantage to the owner if they could not detect unbalanced bid. So at the end of the project, we just realized that the actual quantity for the soil excavation, that's 8,000 cubic yard, and the estimate the actual quantity for the fill materials, that's 7,000 cubic yard. All right, so now let's take a look at that. Just assume we've got 2 bidders, and we just try to compare the cost of those 2 potential bidders, as if they will be working on this project. So for bid 1, if bidder 1 gets selected, this would be the final cost for their soil excavation item. This number times the actual quantity, 44,000, and the cost for the bidder 2, that would be 16,000, and this number times the unit price, that's $105,000. And for bidder 2, this number times this number, so 140. And then we just sum them up, add all of them up, and we get a new total price for the project, 231. Alright, so now let's compare with the total amount again. So by looking at bidder 2, because bidder 2, supposedly they should be selected for this project, and if you select bidder 2, eventually the owner is going to pay $231,000 to bidder 2. But if the owner could select bidder 1, and the total cost for this project could potentially be $224,000. So let's compare with the initial bid. You can see bidder 2 is a little bit lower, but now, because of the unbalanced bid, they intentionally increase the price of the items that they foresee there will be an increase in the quantity, and so the price difference is about $5 for the item that's going to increase a lot in quantities. But for this one, they intentionally lower the price, so the price is only about $3.5 per cubic yard, but the decrease of the quantity is not much in terms of like the total amount, right? So that means if you select bid 1, potentially you could save about $7,000 or so for the owner. So again, as I already mentioned in the class, unbalanced bid is an ethical practice that can potentially disqualify the bidder from participating in the work. All right, so that's the basic introduction of a unbalanced bid. So hopefully you guys learned something new about unbalanced bid.